Hi Rutik, hi Jaya, hi Kenneth.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Hi Shikha.
Good, yeah.
I think it's almost 8. We can wait for a couple of more minutes, then we'll start. Right? Hi Peter. Hi Matsendra. How are you? I'm audible. Can I get a thumbs up? Hello. Okay, that's great. That's great. So we're just gonna wait for a couple of more minutes and then we'll start with the webinar. So can you guys give a small intro about yourself in the chat, your name and your profession? And if you want to know anything out of this workshop, it's a small webinar. It's around 1.5 hour, 2 hour workshop. We are going to focus on the introduction of AI in AEC, that is architecture, engineering, and construction. Hi, Andrea. So, Andrea, I think you're on mute.
Hey, Naman.
Hey, so Andrea over here is a founder of Ideatura AI. So it's gonna be in the second part of today's session, where he's gonna talk about his tool and how it is pretty practical for Revit workflows, especially the manual ones such as dimensioning, annotations, tagging, and many more functions that he's gonna present today in the webinar. If you guys can just give me a little intro about yourself, maybe just add your name in the chat and just what do you do, what's your profession. So I think, okay, so you guys have any doubts if I'm going too fast, too slow, if you think that I'm not able to share my screen or you can't see the info, you can just you're open to just unmute yourself and give me a little heads up, or maybe uh, give me a little thumbs up or thumbs down whether if it's not working. Hi Jaya. Hi Sahil, how are you? That's great, man. That's great to see that you're excited to see how is it's gonna be today. I'm just gonna wait for a couple of more minutes. Then I'll give a small introduction about myself. And then, hi Barani, how are you? Hi Matsendra. Oh, that's great. I think we have many folks right now from, hello, hi Peter. That's great. So I'm gonna share my screen. You can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Great. So let's start with a little introduction. I think people will keep on joining right now. So I will just try to approve them right now and I will just start. So I will start with the intro right now. So in today's webinar, we are going to talk about the applications of AI in AEC, that is architecture, engineering, construction. And so we are trying to focus, it will be a little focused towards architecture, but these workflows will also be applicable in other tangents of AEC, such as structural engineering, electrical engineering, MEP, and other important services and other aspects of AEC. So let me start a little introduction about myself. Hi all, thanks for joining in. I'm Naman Mehta. I'm the founder of Design Collective. It's an integrated architectural practice that is based out of Gurugram, Delhi, Haryana, India. And in this practice, what we are trying to do is trying to integrate AI as much as possible into our architectural workflows, right? And in these workflows, we are trying to target each particular aspect that we have, that is visualization, research, schematic design, design development, documentation, post occupancy, and delivery on site. So I have around 5 years of experience in architectural design, and I specialize in AI integrated workflows. I'm also a certified computational designer, AI consultant, BIM expert, and educator, wherein I help AEC firms help them implement architecture and interior design workflows into the systems. And right now, I'm also working as an AI consultant for AEC and construction firms. And this is my practice. We pioneer in AI applications in architecture. We are also working with some companies to develop their own in-house architectural and interior design applications for the personal use cases. And I've taught more than 101,000 plus professionals in this domain worldwide so far. And seeing the current trend in the demand of AI in space like AEC is something for which I have tried to enter this space and to provide and help to create more awareness, more services, and also to create some kind of awareness among the applications, the implementations, and also how you can use it for your personal use cases. I was also recently featured as a AI consultant in Times Square, wherein I was among the top 100 AI consultants in AEC. That was, that was featured on Times Square. So thought I would share that as well. Just give me a second. I'll just admit if someone is still left so that we can continue fluently. Okay. So the question always starts with why architects must embrace AI now. So um, can you guys tell me why should we embrace AI right now? Like you're open to unmute yourself and share it with me if you'd like. Why architects, engineers and construction professionals, why should they embrace AI right now? Anyone? So, okay, I'm going to talk about three main things that why it is important right now, right? First of all, is a pretty natural thing that evolution is natural. So, just as CAD replaced manual drafting, AI will redefine workflows, right? So, of course, it's gonna always start with something as basic as visualization. That is pretty common right now. Research is also pretty common right now, but if we look at AEC, especially architecture as a whole domain, you'll notice that these are very small micro workflows in a big picture, and you'd have to understand that each task, each workflow will and definitely right now also has some AI application associated to it. So that is where you have to be pretty proactive about it and try to see whether you can integrate AI into this particular workflow, right? And in today's workshop, we are not going to just focus on the visualization part, but also a more technical and more critical part, that is documentation. And that is where Andrea has also joined us today. He will be talking about his tool, Ideatura AI, and how it is helping professionals reduce manual workflows and how efficiently is integrating AI into tools like Revit. And that is where speed is crucial. So in a world where it's moving towards automations, AEC cannot lag behind, and it should not lag behind. Since technology adoption is among the slowest in that industry, I'd always recommend not to um, be lazy about it, be proactive about it, keep doing experimentation and also good amount of discovery, right? One second, I'll just admit everyone. Okay, let's continue. Okay, that's great. So again, moving back to, yeah, so moving back to why architects must embrace AI right now. Again, evolution is natural, speed is critical, and also right now in a space such as delicate, important, and practical as AEC, it is very crucial to try to understand its implication into real-time workflows. So, talking about why AI matters in AEC, again, for four main reasons. So, these are the four main reasons that any firm operates on a normal basis. So, that is as simple as time savings, wherein you may have, if you are integrating it efficiently, you will save around 50 to 70% of turnaround time on design iterations. Cost reduction is also very important. In if you are saving time, at the end you're saving time of your resources, then the man hours will become lesser, and also the number of software usage right now is so cheap as compared to the previous traditional one, that there is a significant reduction in licenses fees, but also the resource fees, right? Also, since you are saving time on revisions, it's best. One second. Yeah, so it's best that in these workflows you always try to create some kind of cost reduction as well. Resource optimization, again, very important, just as I had mentioned that you are streamlining workflows from schematic to construction documentation. So in workflows such as those, I think it's best that you always try to create some kind of resource optimization workflows that really helps out a lot. Quality improvements, very important. There's enhanced accuracy, there's consistency across all project phases, and that is where AI as a tool also comes into picture with a great asset delivery over um, the site. So talking about time, cost, and resource, giving you a small comparative between before and after. In traditional workflows, I'm just giving you some numbers on the basis of some projects that I've already done, and so far what I have researched over the internet of what firms have received so far. You will see firms like Studio Tim Fu. There is Mariana Carbillo Arquitectos, and many other firms who are already implementing AI into actual architectural practice. And not just that, I'm going to showcase tools such as xFigura, where they are working to integrate this into workflows of companies like Zaha Hadid Architects right now, right? So again, that is where AI gets the edge, and it's always best to take these numbers into actual consideration and try to implement those use cases. And in AI enhanced workflows, you get more than 10x the productivity, and there's a significant amount of reduction in costs. Since you are just spending most of the time on a single asset, and that too working on multiple AI-based platform, that is quite cheap. So again, these are not just theoretical numbers; they represent real project metrics. And again, AI delivers measurable value that transform not just creativity but also practical business outcomes. So I think most of us are really excited about AI since they are a part of this webinar. Again, I'd always recommend that use this as a you can say a guide sheet if you are starting your own AI journey right now, right? So again, it always starts with something as basic as the discovery phase, wherein you have curiosity, right? So right now, since most of the people right now are here attending this webinar, that represents a small part of the discovery phase, that you people are excited about AI, you want to learn more about it, and that is why you are a part of this journey, and this curiosity has driven you to learn more about AI applications in architecture, engineering, and construction. Once you pass that phase, you realize that you're starting to test out new tools. You're starting to work on our recommendations. For example, I'll showcase a demo of a visualization tool today. After this workshop, after this webinar, you'll go try the tool out yourself. You'll see the limitations. You'll see you'll still face some challenges. The journey won't be easy for you. Just as anyone started to learn a basic software, something like AutoCAD, or maybe as basic as Revit, but after that initial difficulty that you face in those challenges, you realize that the learning curve of these new tools and workflows is quite low as compared to tools like AutoCAD and Revit. And maybe if you are practicing a tool that would have taken you around 1 month to master or learn properly, it would take you around a week's time. So the learning curve is also a pretty good amount of, or you can say a pretty basic entry point that anyone can enter, learn about these tools. It's only the question of when and how. And after you have started learning about it, you started to get some results, you'll do the experimentation, right? You'll try to test AI across different design processes. You'll do in schematic design process, you'll do it in design development process, you'll be able to visualization, research, documentation. Out of these two, we are showcasing visualization today and documentation. That is where you realize that you are getting some productivity gains out of this, not just theoretical numbers, not just basic numbers, but some productivity gains out of this, right? And that is where you'd see breakthrough movements. When you see there are dramatic productivity gains, you're noticing that the amount of time you were originally spending on a good set of design renders, let us suppose you're spending 2 weeks of time in generating a packaging material for a facade of an building or an interior design set, you notice that you are able to do that in couple of days or maybe 3 days. And that is where you'd notice dramatic productivity gains. And when I say dramatic, you notice that the numbers are not just 2x or 3x faster. Sometimes in some use cases it's 10x faster, 20x faster. And once you achieve those breakthrough moments, you will uh, you will start fully integrating those tools into your actual workflows. And that is where you replace your traditional workflows, your traditional tools. And that is where you will be a part of AI enhanced workflow that will become your standard practice. And that is where your journey, you can say, will be completed for this phase, right? This is the initial phase of integration. Next is development, right? Creating custom workflows, you're creating AI agents, right? So again, this is the ladder that you should follow. You can take a screenshot. This is anyway recorded, but this is what I always recommend to my clients whenever I say that this is my AI journey. It always starts with discovery phase, early challenges, experimentation, breakthrough movements, and then fully integration. So it's a workflow that it's a journey that I followed from traditional workflow to AI enhanced design, and it's a gradual transformation journey. You can't just go from 1 to 5 directly. You're gonna see some challenges, some bottlenecks, some breakthroughs, and after that you'd truly achieve a fully integrated AI enhanced practice. So just sharing a small insight about uh, uh, resource material that I've created over the past couple of years. So as we all know that there are multiple design, there are multiple phases in any architectural engineering construction workflow. It always starts with research, then we have visualization, we have schematic design, design development, documentation, and then we have post occupancy, right? So I have created a list of around 300 plus AI tools that I will be sharing post this workshop in the over the email along with the recording and the transcript of this meeting, where I have targeted multiple core categories such as design, BIM, visualization, documentation, management, research, right? And this curated directory represents the months of data collection, testing. Uh, you know uh, w- it's always my priority to create some kind of help or cheat sheet that is designed for faster tool selection. It is good for your enhanced consultancy capabilities, and it also serves as a comprehensive resource for entire AEC community. There are other professionals as well, you must know, pretty great folks who are I'm pretty get in touch with them, such as Stepan, there is Nick Naz, and many people have already, there's Alistair, who have created something similar like this. And again, those are also great sources to look into after this webinar. So small hack, I'm just giving you a small AI tool stack that I have so far right now. I'm also about to integrate, Ideatura AI, who's going to be, there's going to be a demonstration about that after this presentation, after the visualization workflow. But to give you a small insight about how I operate for my internal use cases, it always starts with research, reports, and analysis. So for that, I'm using three tools right now: is ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity. For market research, Perplexity is the best. For content, ChatGPT, and for reports, it's Gemini. As simple as that. No confusion about it. And so far, what I have compared so far, these are the best tangent where each of the tool works best. Gemini for reports, Perplexity for research, and ChatGPT for content. For visualization, I'm using xFigura. I am using Midjourney, Nano Banana from X. I'm using it from xFigura, but I'm using it from many other platforms, which serves me as a backup for multi-tool, generation for visualization workflows. Again, for video, I have xFigura. There is Kling, Runway, Luma, and these are good and you can say economical tools for video workflows, advanced rendering, and also for animation creation. Then we move on to a little more advanced and complicated, that is documentation. So we have tools like Glyph, there is BIM Logic, there is Ideatura AI, where you can do auto dimensioning, auto annotations, and also custom workflows that you can create for yourself. Again, for reports and documentation, I'm using Notion. AI is amongst the greatest tool that I've tried so far. For project management, I use Notion. For RFIs and data queries, I use Notebook LM. And also for business administration purposes, I use Notebook LM. For post-production presentation and flowcharts, I use pretty famous tools like Canva for editing. It has many AI tools integrated into itself. I use Gamma for AI presentations. Again, pretty finessed tool that is pretty practical for each workflow. And then there is Napkin AI right now. I also use tools like N10, Make, and DataGrid AI. These are the tools that I use for my AI consultancy that I work with AEC firms. But if you guys are pretty intricate about your data security, I'd suggest you also try to look into these AI agents and development tools, because using those you can create custom workflow automations according to your custom requirements, right? I also do some kind of bolt, lovable, and cursor that is used for AI integrations into my workflows and also for application developments. So again, AI isn't just a tool. Again, it's an ecosystem of design, visualization, project management, research, and that is where your smartness in terms of application of each AI tool in each workflow is where it gives you the edge as a professional, right? So are we on the same page? Can I get a thumbs up so far? Great, 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 great. That's great to see. One second. Okay, one second. I'll just admit some folks who have been waiting. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm just going to give you a small case study of a project that I did for a government in UP. So it was a lakefront project, right? And of course, we are under NDA, so I can't disclose the exact specification of this project. But I'm going to just mention some aspects where actually integrated AI into each of the workflow, and that was 1 year back. So if you guys must know that AI is moving at a tremendous speed, and right now it's not that long when AI has become a part of our chapter. It's been only 2 to 3 years right now. And again, I'd always say that there are multiple applications to it. It's always the question about how and where, right? And that is where you can integrate AI into any form of project right now, any form. So some uh, workflows are pretty much common in each profession, such as business administration, HR, enterprise resource planning, resource planning, CRMs, everything is, these things are pretty common in each practice. And again, AI can be integrated for each of the practice over there. So in this particular project, I did master planning. So I did AI assisted site analysis and layout optimization. I did quick visualization, wherein you could do rapid concept development for client presentation. As we were on a very stringent timeline, we were supposed to deliver it in, you can say, one third of the time, and we were able to do it. And since it was a lakefront project, so we were pretty cautious about the environmental impact that it's going to it's going to create on the environment. And we had to be pretty particular about it so that we don't cause any type of trouble. So we were pretty fluent with AI enhanced research that we did, and the results were that the week's work was compressed into days. There was reduced number of iterations, and we got faster client approvals. Also, in project focus, this is the same project that I'm talking about. So let's quantify the AI's impact in this particular project, right? So it was a 400-acre master planning concept proposal, and we had a lean team of only 4 people, and the timeline of the project was around 3 months. That was already a short timeline for a concept design stage of a 400-acre master planning project, but we were able to do it in just 1 month. So that is a significant amount of time savings that we did. So traditionally, again, this project would have taken around a staff of around 5 to 10 people and at least 3 months, right? And we were able to give a tangible value where there were around 3 lakhs, or maybe you can say that's around um, uh, we have to say $5 to $10,000 over 2 months saved for the client, right? And that is where AI gave us the edge, and we were able to get that contract. And we are also currently working with them for the further design stages, and also at a tremendous speed. So this is one application that I wanted to present. So talking about this integrated project, so what was my AI driven workflow from concept to completion? In the design strategy, I used AI generated conceptual workflows and for spatial analysis, for zoning, etc. For research, we did many case studies, and again, for case studies research, we use tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity to fetch out reports, fetch out data that we can consult before designing. We fetched that data and imported it into Notebook LM, where we were able to prepare an entire strategy over there. And then we were able to create AI assisted documentation and technical documents that were pretty beneficial for us to work with. And then we started with a concept that was rendering. We simply created blocks, nothing else. We just simply created blocks on Revit, and we were able to do advanced visualization over there. And then there's post-production, wherein we did automated editing, final deliverable preparation on Gamma, Canva, and we delivered the entire 3 months work of time that required at least 5 to 10 people with a staff of only 4 people, and that too in a month's time. So this was the first time we actually saw real-time implication on a large-scale project, wherein there was end-to-end integration into to the concept stage of modern practice. So how did I work with AI? It's pretty simple. There are 4 Ws: what, why, how, and when. Right. So it's always starts with what, that is drafting and documentation, visualization and rendering, feasibility reports, technical analysis, and not just that. There are thousands of many more workflows that you can how to work. You can work with AI to integrate with. In why, there are many other reasons. For any architectural or any other construction firm for that matter, it's only 2 things: time and money, nothing else. That is where we are here to work with AI, right? So if you are doing efficient work in the least amount of time, you are you're in turn saving lots and lots of costs, right? So that is where you achieve good amount of efficiency, right? And again, there is a good amount of reduction in repetitive tasks. You can focus on actually human-centric workflows such as creativity workflows. And for how, you just have to go with structured workflows. You have to integrate multiple tools. You have to always focus on iterative processes, and also to have quality checkpoints in the middle of them, right? And again, when it's on every design and architecture engineering work stage, you can integrate it for practically every workflow. That too for very delicate workflows like actual site preps, or maybe site construction that usually labor do. That is now being done by 3D printing technologies, robots, etc. Right? So you can integrate it at any stage that you like. Talking about time, cost, and resource savings, again, before and after AI, a small comparative. 200 hours of modeling is reduced to again 20 minutes with AI, 90% time reduction, 70% cost savings, faster delivery. These are not just numbers, these are actually what firms are achieving right now. And these firms are not someone who are actually, gonna be there to help you out. It's your competition at the end. You have to be more efficient over it. Otherwise, they'll be able to 10 times the number of projects you do in a year. And that is how people are seeing it right now as a tool. Right now, there aren't going to be much layoffs. The productivity will increase. The competition, your competition will, try to poach your projects and try to complete them in 1/10 of the time. That is where you have to have the edge of AI integration into your practice. Talking about not just architecture but interior also. For interior, you can do many other workflows, such as you can use mood boards to create instant style and material exploration. You can do rapid visualization. You can create schematic plans for AI assisted space planning and layout. You can also create design variations right now. So that is where AI liberates creativity by generating multiple options at scale, something which was impossible with manual work, or that took a lot of time. So talking about myself again, I have a dual role. I'm a practitioner and a researcher. I am doing academic research acceleration. I'm also doing comparative analysis automation. I'm also doing case study generation, and also I'm into industry knowledge contribution, wherein I do webinars like this. I'm also doing many other things also that I will talk about post this workshop. And also I'm doing consultancy for firms and government bodies, wherein I'm trying to bridge the gap between practice and academia. Some small hacks and live workflows that I'd like to present. Right, this is again something that you can use for your internal practice. Quick wins that you can try today, or maybe whenever you have the time to try it out. Use ChatGPT or Perplexity for research. It is great for comprehensive project summaries, analysis, and it can do it minutes. For site analysis, I'd recommend tools like Gemini. It gives you instant visual analysis and contextual insight from site imagery. It uses OCR capabilities and advanced video analysis power that it has, that is powered by Google. That is where you can do live site analysis that will in turn create a transcript that will serve us as a report for your further working. So RFI, that stands for request for information and data query with Notebook LM. Again, it's good for if you're doing research, you're doing case studies, if you have to go back to the meetings, MOMs, and you have to do some kind of important data query and many other workflows. That is where Notebook LM takes the edge. xFigura for visualization, it transformed static renders into dynamic presentation, from text to image to video to 3D to parametric design. Everything can be done on one node based platform. So these are some actionable insights that you can try out on with these tools that you can implement immediately, which will create big impact for yourself. So giving you a small future of AEC, AI and AC. So right now we're just focusing on tools. Post this, we're going to see agentic AI, where there's going to be autonomous design agents working alongside architects. There's going to be AI and BIM integration, wherein you notice that BIM is starting to be integrated into AI. So AI is a big umbrella. There's not just going to be BIM. There's agentic AI, there's AutoCAD workflows, there's MCP, and many other workflows that are integrated into a single platform. So it's always exciting to see that which manual workflow today is going to AI target, right? And since BIM is a crucial part for any firm, whether it's MEP, engineering, or maybe architecture, BIM and Revit is still a crucial part. So AI and BIM integration is very important. So simulations are also becoming quite common nowadays. There is real-time building performance and optimization that you can do based out of the models that you create. And using those, you can do actual environmental analysis that is pretty important for futuristic workflows. That is where sustainability analysis takes the edge. You can take out reports and actually do analysis whether you should do anything separate for the high sustainability index to be achieved in your building. So again, it's all about creativity. Don't just take on these four tangents of AI and EEC. I'd also recommend that try out more workflows. This is just the surface of the water. You have to start scratching the depth of the ocean as well. So human creativity plus machine productivity is the future of AEC right now. So this is the most important slide of all, that AI is not perfect. Side by side addition and source checking is the most important aspect of any workflow that you know. uh, don't rely 100% of on the AI generated data. At the end, there is a person who will be credible, and remember that AI won't take the credibility. It will always be the person behind. So always make sure to do side by side ideation, source checking whenever you're doing something important, especially in a space as intricate as AEC. So on that note, closing this small intro, and then we're going to move on to xFigura, right? We're leading the future. We are focusing on productivity, creativity, and competitiveness. We are trying to work smarter and not harder on productivity. Creativity, we are trying to explore more possibilities, trying to create more integrated designs, and competitiveness to stay ahead globally, right? So AI augments architects, it doesn't replace them. And explore, experiment, and lead the future of AI with AC. And I think this is about the intro. If we have any doubts, I'll be sure to address them so that we can move on to the call. Is there any doubt so far? Can I get a thumbs up, guys? Am I going too fast, too slow? Yes, I think Kapil has a question. Yes, Kapil, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Uh, Quick question regarding the project that you were sharing about the UP government lakefront design. Since you
Mhm.
were, you were part of it, and it being under NDA and also a government
Mhm.
project, was it easy for you to leverage the AI tools?
Uh, I think it was a contractor, it was a PPP project that we were doing. So I was working with a private firm, private organization in that use case. So we didn't work on the models on web applications. We were working on local models on our computers rather than relying on web applications. So we were not using tools like Midjourney, but we were using some local AI generative tools that stored all of our data on our computers itself. So that is where we gave them some insight that we're going to just focus on the local servers, such as we were using Olama for doing research. So that is where we gave them the relief that we're not going to rely on web-based applications.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So in those use cases, wherever you have some sensitive data, many of the companies who are working with many delicate projects such as data centers, it's always recommended to try to work with AI systems, not on web applications, but try to download it locally in your computers or PC. It requires good amount of GPU power in that case, but it's more practical in terms of data security. Okay. So moving forward, I think, do we have any other doubt? Yeah.
All
Hi,
good,
Shika. What's up?
Naman. Just, I think someone is still trying to get into the call.
Okay. Okay.
Someone said he couldn't join.
Yeah. Hi, Shika. No one, please check once again. Hi, Shika, what's up? I think you're on mute. Okay, okay. So what we'll do is, if you guys have any questions for just to be mindful of time, I have around 20 odd minutes to showcase the demonstration. Then we have Andrea with Ideatura AI. So if you have any other major, yeah, so you can address your question in the chat. I'll try to do my best to answer it in the chat itself while Andrea will be giving the demonstration, right? So I'll be starting up with xFigura. So what I'll do is I'll share the link with that tool in the chat itself, so that you can also open it side by side if you'd like to see check it out. So it's again, I also know the founder of this tool. It's by George Givda. He is also based out of Boston, USA, and it's a canvas. So can I get a thumbs up if anybody has used Miro? I think everybody must have used Miro early on. Miro, Fabri, or maybe any other node-based canvas system. Can I get a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever? Okay. Some have, some hasn't. So, okay. So what I'll do is I'll try to keep it as basic as possible for everyone, so that everyone can understand. Right. I'll share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, perfect, perfect. So I will just head. So this is xFigura. I have shared the link of this tool in the chat. You are open to try out workflows yourself side by side if you'd like. So it's like an infinite canvas. So let us suppose this entire screen is like a paper, an infinite canvas on which you can draw, ideate, create AI generated videos, and also to do many other workflows such as text to image, image to image, text to video, image to video, or image to 3D, and multiple other workflows, right? So just giving you a small insight about the landing page, so that you'd know that why am I showcasing this tool. It's being used by companies like Zahadi, the architects. There is a Academy of Architecture. There is universities in there were universities in Dubai. There is Harvard University, who has also started integrating this tool into their actual architectural practice. So why are they integrating this into their practice? It's because of this canvas over here. So previously, I used to navigate around tools. So let us suppose I wanted to create an entire text to video workflow. I'd have to go to Midjourney. I'd have to create a image on this, right? So I'd have to log in. I have to do everything, right? Then I'd have to go to Kling, and on Kling I'd have to create a video, right? So for that particular work, it's a single stage of design that we had to do, right? And for that I had to have three different subscriptions, and that too in a very non-intuitive way, right? For images, I also had to go onto platform like Gemini, and I had to do work with Nano Banana, right? But in this, it's a very intuitive UI wherein you have a node-based system. You can easily connect all the multiple nodes, that is text to render applications. You can enhance it, you can magnify it. You have image to render, you can do sketch to render, image to video, image to 3D. You can create your own design boards for your particular projects. You can do relight rendering. Everything can be done over here. And another important aspect is collaboration, right? So why collaboration? So as an architects, we are architects, engineering and contractors, or maybe many other companies, or if you are having many other stakeholders who are a part of one project. So for example, I am responsible of designing mixed use development that is based in Delhi. I'm not just working with some architects or some juniors. I'm also working with an engineering company. I'm also working with a contracting company. And if they want to see the actual render on a software, it's pretty hectic in terms of collaboration and correspondence. So that is where tools like xFigura comes into place. You can give the access of the boards to your colleagues, your other stakeholders who are a part of the project, who can review this and also provide comments or anything important, any other important thing that you want to highlight, right? So these are some of the models that is integrated into this software, right? So you must have heard about most of these tools, such as Flux, Gemini, Ideogram, there's ChatGPT Image, again, Stable Diffusion, Magnific, Runway, Kling, OpenAI for video, there's Sora, there is Vio, For 3D, there are also many other tools such as Trippo, Hunyan, CSM, Rodin, and again, you can integrate 3D models as well, such as you have speckle integration, and that speckle integration helps you access to Rhino, Blender, Revit, SketchUp. So it's an entire interoperability, hyper collaborative platform in front of you that you can use for hyper collaboration and intuitive concept design workflows, right? Again, it's not just a small design canvas. You can do documentation. You can It really helps architecture and design teams to unlock new creative potentials, right? So what I'll do is I'll just head on directly to projects to showcase a little bit more about the UI and how are we working with tools like this. So you guys can see my screen, right? Can I get a thumbs up, thumbs down? So this is the canvas over here. It's pretty basic canvas. What I'll do is I'll change the mode to light, right? And can I get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay, that's great. So what I'll be doing is I'll showcase a simple UI of this entire platform. So it's pretty basic canvas, right? So this is all the workflows that I've done so far, right? I keep on experimenting with new tools, new workflows, new stylization. A simple use case that I can showcase is I created this enhanced prompt on this platform itself. It enhanced it using GPT-5 Nano. It's an API of ChatGPT that you can give it a simple prompt and it will enhance it for me. And then it generated an image or a sketch for me. And then using that sketch, I was able to create multiple styles for a similar design, right? So there was, a neon theme that I was able to do, right? So it's a single node based base for multiple image ideation that I was able to generate, right? So there is Victorian and many other ideations. There's Ghibli style that I have tried. So all of these stylizations can be used for presentation purposes or maybe post site, and you can see that it has good amount of architectural consistency as well. So I'm going to showcase a small workflow to give you more insight about this tool, right? So there are two ways that you can start working with it. You can click on X uh, for xFigura, and you have all of these options. You have text, you have image, video, 3D, in-paint, and upscale. All of these functions have multiple AI tools integrated that can be used by you, right? So let's start with text, right? So can I get some input about a prompt? Would you like to see something interesting, right? Can I get something in the chat? Any prompt, anything that you'd like to see that you'd like to know? Any prompt will work. I just need some kind of contribution from you guys in the webinar.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Is that okay?
Sure, Irene.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen all those workflow. Is there a way that once you create a workflow that you like, it's simple enough to transfer that to a different user? Like, in Kofi UI,
Mhm.
once I
Yes, you
create a
can.
workflow, I can take the
Yeah.
image and literally all I need to do is give it to somebody else and it can drop it into a new session
Yes.
and it remembers
Yes.
everything.
Yes. So for particular tool, this particular tool you're talking about, Xfigura or something else?
Oh, for this particular tool, because I've seen
Yes.
it before, but I haven't had a chance to actually get into it because there's too
Okay.
many.
Okay. Yeah. So there's an option for exporting templates. I will showcase that in a bit. And you can either make it public or private, and you can share that board with any other collaborator that you like. And he'd have that particular template handy with him. Or if you're training models over it, I don't know if you have heard about LoRa's, LORAS. You can train custom LoRa's, and you can also export tensor file for your personal use cases. So it's pretty practical for professional who are looking for intuitive canvas based node based systems.
Yeah, for us, we have Kofi UI in our
Yeah, I know.
organization as a system that we're
Mhm,
training ourselves.
mhm.
But it's very few users that could use that quite well because obviously it's like Dynamo basically for
I know.
visual. But
Hmm.
this seems a lot softer and more accessible to the rest of the
Correct.
team.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I think you can export templates. I know the reason that I'm showcasing this tool is I usually call it a replacement for Comfy UI, because Comfy UI, again, the applications are endless on Comfy UI, but sometimes it's too technical for a regular user to use. So let us suppose you need involvement of engineers who are working on site. So you can't have folks like those who are able to access such canvases, right? So it's more open, it's more practical, and more straightforward, right? So that is where I like xFigura for visualization. So yeah, like I'll showcase, or maybe if you have any doubt, you can reach out to me later. I'll showcase that personalized workflow of how you can do that. Right? Sounds great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, great, great. So let's have a small workflow that we'll do. Then we'll head on to Andrea for Ideatura AI, and I'll just share my screen again. So let's do a small can say exercise, right? So I have added a text, you can say node over here. We call it node, right? You can call it maybe a block or maybe something else, right? I'm going to add a very basic prompt. I'm going to use, and it uses chat GPT 5 nano. That means that you can enhance some prompts for your personal usage, right? So you can simply click on this, right? And I can you can say an aesthetic house based in Dubai, right? And I will click on generate. S- So what it'll do is it will use this prompt and it will enhance it from a particular use case. So it's not fine-tuned as of now, but the result will be quite customizable. You can see the entire reviewed prompt and you can edit it as per your own requirement if you'd like, right? So it has enhanced the prompt. It's saying it's a futuristic aesthetic Dubai house rising from sunlit, blah blah blah, right? So it has generated an enhanced prompt for it. The reason I keep emphasizing on enhanced prompt is that is that these basic prompts sometimes don't work efficiently. The more detailed prompt is, the better you have control over it, and the better results you'd get, right? So it's always best to have enhanced prompt. Previously, what I had to do was I used to go to chat gpt and I asked to ask it that enhance this prompt. Okay, I'm not able to maybe share my screen. I always had to go to ChatGPT and ask it to enhance prompts for me, right? But not again, right? Now you can do it entirely on itself, right? So again, that is where you get the edge. That is where you can have more applications around it, right? Uh, Moving back to Xfigura, again, there we have an enhanced prompt over here. We can simply select another node. So we click on image, right? Because we need to generate an AI generated image. So we are not just sticking to one model right now. If I click on this, you'd see that the model is Nano Banana, right? And you can simply click on this model button and you'd see all of these models over here. Isn't it fantastic? Like you have Nano Banana over here, you have Flux Pro, Flux Enterprise, you have Ideogram 3.0, you have OpenAI Image, you have Flux Dev LoRa, you have Flux Turbo, you have Imagen 4, you have SDXL. Every major model that any most of the firms use is over here, present over here, that you can use, right? I'm going to give you a small comparative as well for you to easily compare what kind of results you can get in a single canvas, and not even getting multiple subscriptions to see multiple results in one board, right? So what I'll do is I'll select Nano Banana. In this case, I will copy it and paste it. I will select another model. Let's select Flux Pro. I will copy paste, and let's select maybe chat gpt image, right? So just like any other collaborative board, all you have to do is just hover your mouse over here and drag it and add it in this prompt bar. Similarly, you can do for this. And similarly you can do for this, and you can add more blocks and more nodes if you want to do more explorations, right? But for this particular use case, I'm just going to add 3 images, right? So if you click on this, you notice the model is Nano Banana, and you could see that the prompt has been translated from this text block to the image block, right? And you can simply click on generate, right? So it has started generating a result for us. Similarly, you can see the model is Flux Pro. You can on Flux Pro you have more options, right? You can select image ratio, you can select output quality, high, low. Let's select high, and you can click on generate, right? So this is what Nano Banana have generated. It's too realistic for me. I don't like it that much. Let's click on this. So it's Open AI. So it's Nano Banana. Let's select Open AI for this particular use case. Again, quality can be high, image ratio, and then we click on generate, right? So again, the image on Flux Pro is pretty, you can say, more aesthetic. You could see Burj Khalifa in the background. Again, this Burj Khalifa over here as well, because I think it has been mentioned in the background. And you see the adherence is not that bad, but the outputs are quite different. Right? It's curvilinear, it's more sand duned inspired, whereas it's more robust and more inspired by, the modern architecture of, uh, Dubai. So this is where you can create multiple iterations on board in front of you for the particular result that you want, right? Now let us suppose I want to edit this image, right? So we can, just double click again. We can click on image, and I will select Nano Banana. So for editing, a small insight, editing Nano Banana works the finest, right? You can simply drag and drop over here and simply add a prompt over here as well. So let us suppose you want to create an enhanced prompt, right? So I'll click on text, and I will write modern industrial themed house, right, in Dubai, right? I will just select this prompt and it will enhance it, right? So what I have done, what I'm doing right now is trying to enhance a prompt, and I'm going to restyle this image using the same image node right now, right? Maybe we can do something else also. Let's go to Pinterest, right? I'll share my screen again. Let's go on Pinterest. Let's save this image, and let's head back to xFigura, right? So in this particular, let's generate this, for example. So what it has done is it has created an entire prompt. I will just input it in the prompt, and it will take this as the reference and the image, and it will generate something out of it. So let us suppose I want to create something more different, right? I want to stylize it from a material, let us suppose. So I'll just click on image again. So there's an option for image uploader. So you can simply click on image uploader. You can click on it and upload this image, and you can add this. You can add the base image. So this is always called a base image, right? And this is what I call a stylized image. So if you click on this, you notice that it is showcasing two things right now: image and style. So it's going to use this as a base, and it's going to use it as a style, and it's going to generate an image out of it. I'm not going to say anything else, no prompt, and let's
Yeah.
just see what kind of output do we get. Again, for similar workflow, you can do the same for something like this. For something like this, let's again another image. Let's add this. Let's add this style image. So we have base image, style image. I click on generate, and this is the output that we got. So what it has done is we haven't given it any prompt, but it has changed the sand dunes in front of it, right? But it is working on stylizing right now. right? Similarly for this, let's just see what kind of output did we get. Again, it did the same for this. So Nano Banana is basically trying to identify what do I want in this, right? So let's try something more funky in this particular use case. So I will add double click image. I will add this. Let's add this image for this instance. And let's add another image. And let's add, I'll say, um, create a stylized facade of image 1 inspired by image 2. So now I'm directing it to change the facade of the building right now, right? So I click on Nano Banana and click on generate, right? So you see an entire workflow is integrated into one place. You're not moving from chat GPT to image generation to OpenAI image generation to Nano Banana or to Flux Context. You are just trying to do everything on single platform to generate the most out of it, right? So now we have generated images. So what next, right? So what we can do is we can simply double click again and click on video, right? And in video you have more options also, right? So this is the output that we got. So you see it was pretty efficient. It imposed the entire design of the, that pattern over it, and you were able to see the changes over it. And you can just simply click on compare, right? And you notice that it has done some important, the entire architecture is almost same. There is no difference as of yet. Stairs are, I think the number of steps, if you also see, it's around same, right? It's just zoomed out a little bit, but the rest you can see that it's pretty much the same, right? So again, for video, the next step is video right now, right? So we have integrated simple platform like ChatGPT text. We have integrated simple platforms like Stable Diffusion, Flux, OpenAI, etc. Now we are trying to move into more technical, right? So let's generate a video out of it, right? So let's attach this. So we have first frame. We can also add another image for the second frame, right? But let's remove it for now, right? Let's not complicate it for now. And let's add a prompt, right? So I click on text and I'll say slow. I'll give it a simple cinematic shot, because for video generation tool, I'm just giving you a quick insight that for simple video generation prompts, it's always best to use cinematic and technical terms of camera movements. So you can as it use the building as the subject and create a video of a drone shot out of it. So very basic prompt. I'm just giving you I'm just giving it a very generalized prompt so that it can identify this building and it can generate an output for me. So it will generate an enhanced prompt for me to work with, right? I'll just click over here. So over here in video model, there are other options as well. There is Kling AI, Runway, Google VO2. That is, Google VO2 is quite expensive to use, so I always recommend to go with Dance. There is Runway, there is Kling AI. There is also new tools in the market. Van 2.2 is pretty good for your usage also. So you can just add it in the prompt. Once it's generated, you'll be able to get the output. Similarly, I'll add another node for your comparison. Right now, I've selected Kling AI. You can also select. So it has generated an enhanced, you can say prompt, right? Now, what I'll do is I will select another node, right? And I will add it over here, and I will add it another frame. So we'll click on generate, we click on generate, and right now we are generating two video models at the same time. So that is, I think there's a bug over here. It happens sometime, but I think we are able to generate some result over here. But again, these use cases are particularly integrated to manage multiple workflows into one platform, right? So again, you can perform many of the functions. You can try out many of the tools. Right now, I think there is some server outage that is going on right now, but you can always try other workflows, right? I'll just add it and give it, click on generate. Let's just see, right? So, since videos can also be generated, I can just give you a small example of what I've done previously, right? So I asked it to generate an enhanced prompt, right? It generated a building, right? And then I stylized this image, right? I wanted it to do some kind of stylizing, so I was able to do this using nano banana, right? So one second. So this is the original building, and this was the one that we generated on nano banana. Again, and then using Kling AI, I was able to create a 360-degree movement shot around the building. That was pretty fun to demonstrate about the various aspects of this building that I wanted to showcase, right? So what next, right? I want a 3D model, right? I want to do something more, right? So once you double click on this, right, you can simply click on this, and you have options for 3D as well. One particular workflow that I want to showcase is you can just select this, and this is the 3D model that I have generated over house, right? So this was the facade of the building. I removed the background, I zoomed it out a little bit, and then I created a 3D model out of it, right? One second. So it's getting loaded right now. So this 3D model can also be used for some minute workflows for product. And right now 3D models are not that finished right now, but you see the every moment that we're talking right now, everything is getting improved at an incredible scale, right? But the fact that every major tool is integrating one platform is truly a differentiating factor to migrate from many other platforms to this platform, simply because that you are able to perform multiple functions under one roof, right? I'll just reload it once. And then, post this, there are many other things that we can do, but again, that will require a separate webinar in itself. And I think we are a little 7 minutes ahead of our time. So again, I'll just showcase many other things that we can do. There is LoRa training that I just wanted to talk about, wherein you can simply upload 20 to 50 images, and you'll create a fine-tuned custom model for yourself that you can share it with your teams or maybe for internal working. And that way you can use fine-tuned you can use your own data to create fine-tuned images, right? You can simply click on settings, you can select to enterprise LoRa or flux turbo LoRa, and you can add some LoRa name, some trigger words, and then you can simply create a LoRa training, right? For collaboration, again, you have if you click on this over here, you notice that there are options for share project, right? You can share this project, right? uh, and you can just add your email addresses, and you can add users who can also view and edit these or maybe comment on this entire canvases, right? So this is about it for xFigura. There are many other things that I have missed, but I can showcase in my another webinar someday. So in this, it's called Vision. It's an AI agent. So in you can just simply ask it to create a workflow for Dubai house video walkthrough. So it will create entire nodes for you along with wireframes, right? So again, it's another great thing that has been added in this tool, wherein you can just out of your theme. So you see it's doing it in front of you, and it's asking for credits, and I can simply ask for credits, and it will do the entire thing for me, right? So again, many other workflows that we can explore. I'm happy to address your questions right now if you have any before we move on to Ideatura AI. And if you have any doubts, do let me know. Um, uh, do try this tool out, and again, it's just one of many workflows that you can try it out on tools like xFigura. So yeah, I have a question from Shika. What percentage of your workflow is AI driven, say for a live project or a design to build project? How much 3D modeling is required in these scenarios? So I can give you a small, you can say use case wherein you have to design a pre-concept. You are at a pre-concept stage and you have to give some idea to the client right now. You have to get approval before you actually get the project, right? So you don't have the bandwidth to do the entire 3D modeling, and you can't just show single line plans, right? That doesn't look good. So in those use cases, you can simply create block models. You can give them input of the briefs, and you can generate some initial draft of those renders that can be used for pre-concept stage. So that is where 100% you can say AI integration is there in concept. As we move on further, manual workflows are also involved, so it becomes a very hybrid practice. Right now in my practice, we have AI tool usage of about 50%, but the return that we get, the productivity return that we get, is more than 3 to 4 times. So you see, the ratios are quite spectacular to see, right? So yeah, like moving forward, over to you, Andrea. So we have Andrea from Ideatura AI. He's going to explain more about his intuitive tool, that is a documentation software for Revit. And great to have you on board, Andrea. Over to you.
Thank you, Naman. Great presentation. It was super insightful and happy to be here and presenting our tool. Can anyone hear me? Fine?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Let's go. I think I'll keep it short to the point. I'm going to show you quickly our website, how it looks like today, and then I'll take you straight into Revit. I'm going to show you exactly what the tool likes today, if that's okay. And maybe I'll also give you a short introduction about myself. I'm going to close this window. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Enter screen 3. Can anyone see? Yeah, okay, awesome. Well, hi everyone. My name is Andrea. I am an architect and co-founder of Ideatura. Together with my co-founder Alex, we are building Cursor for Architects. If that doesn't tell you much, picture it this way. It's an AI assistant that integrates directly with your 3D CAD modeling tool, in this case Revit, and lets you automate your actions with natural language. Okay. On average, like we've been going on at this for maybe like 8 months now, and the software is still very young. It's only maybe 5-6 months old, and we've been basically building it in stealth with a couple of practices here in the UK. By the way, I'm Italian, but I've been living in the UK for the past 15 years. I did my studies here, I've been practicing here, and I did a transition towards startup in the construction space maybe 3 years ago. And we did plenty of interviews before we decided to start building this particular tool. And at the end of the day, what we realized from those conversations is that the actual original design work that an architect does is actually fairly limited, maybe 20 to 30% of their time in actually creating interesting, novel pieces of information. The remaining 70% is actually quite repetitive and manual. So whether that's very manual CAD modeling, or it's you checking the regulations of what to check that what you're doing is compliant, or most painfully, the creation of drawings. Okay, and that's exactly our starting point. We want to help you automate as much as possible of the workflow within the drawing creation space. And we started super narrow with what we thought was initially a fairly simple problem, which is the creation of dimensions. And it actually turned out a pretty complex space. And probably that's why, I haven't seen anyone to successfully develop a tool similar to ours that can, in this particular case, deliver dimensions pretty quickly and pretty effectively. Okay. This is our website, ideatura.ai. Please go there and check it out. You can either request access, and that will give you basically access to my calendar straight away. Okay, you can book an appointment and we can have a chat. We are vetting calls. Okay, so please, when if you're deciding to book a time, I'm probably going to send you an email asking you for what company are you working for and the kind of projects you're working on. And if, I want to see a little bit of interaction via email first, and then we're more than happy to jump into a call. Or you can simply join the wait list. And as soon as we have the prices in here and a download button, you'll be the first one to know and be able to start using the tool straight away. There is a short video here that I'm probably going to take you through quickly, but I'll keep it snappy. This is this was our initial prototype of the tool, and keep it in mind, this is a Figma prototype. Okay, this is not how the tool looks like today, but this is the intention of what we want to build, and this is where the when we put it together as a prototype maybe 3 months ago. You're going to have a chat interface. You're going to be able to send your prompt and save your prompt. You can say something as simple as dimensional walls in this view. The AI will understand your information, will generate some code. You'll be able to run it. If you're happy with the results, you'll be able to save that automation and rerun that automation over and over. You're going to be able to adjust and make your automation more bespoke. So in the case of dimensions, you might want to add grids and level in this case. Or you can just keep on having a conversation within the chat. And you can say, actually, the automation of a single string is not useful. I want 3 strings of dimensions. I want to capture doors and windows. I want to capture the intersecting grids. And I want to capture the overall length of the wall. Okay. And by the way, do that across multiple views all at once. Okay, so that was the initial very clear value proposition that we were bringing to architectural practices. You can create automation to do dimensions in a certain style, or to delete all of them. There are obviously easier way to delete dimensions, but you get the point. You can build your automations. And with this idea, we started going to architectural practices here in London and asked, if we are building this infrastructure, what is the next thing you would like to automate next? Okay. That's it. I'll let you explore the website at your own speed. And in here, we are suggesting also that we're going to cover more areas within the drawing automation space. Of course, that's the goal, whether it's the creation of tags or the automatic creation of sheets in your model. We are building all those features, but we are not going to release them until the software is actually capable to do that reliably, okay? Because we don't want people to waste time on tools that do not deliver what they promised, okay? Today, if you're getting Ideatura, it's because you can do dimensions right from the get-go. Let's jump straight into the software. This is your traditional, Revit template file that I've adjusted to capture a few extra elements like angled walls and linked files, which are requirements we received from our very, early customers. And just a bunch of views. You have your second and third floor, and then a bunch of scope boxes showing you enlarged areas of this first floor. The software today looks like this. It's very simple, it's very crude, it's not as pretty as the one you'll see on the website, but it has all the functionalities that we are claiming our software can deliver. You have a chat interface. You can start with something as simple like create dimensions, or create dimensions in the current view or internal walls. Okay, you can say capture doors and curtain grids. Use offset 0.3 meters. There we go. That should do. You send your message. The AI will take this information, will generate code on the fly. It will give you a short summary. We will see it in a second, just for you to be sure that the code that is generated is that the AI is understanding your request, and then you'll be able to run that automation. I can show you a simpler example of something I created just before, which is list all view names in this file. This is the kind of response you're going to get. So a short summary and code that gets generated on the fly for you. So in this example, I'm going to show you something simple. I'm not going to show you the code that we generate for the creation of dimensions, but we can do that on a different occasion. In this case, you can see it's initializing the research of all the views, it's capturing all the 2D views, all the 3D views, it's processing those 2D views, etc., etc. If you're happy with what you see, you don't necessarily have to check the code, of course. You can just run the automation. In this case, it's running in the background, and it's probably going to regenerate exactly, the same report message you see in here, okay? So it's capturing all the floor plans, all the ceiling plans, all the elevations that are actually present in here in the model. The automation takes anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds to generate, but once you have the automation and you're happy with it, you can simply save that automation. You can share it with, there you go, the automation just appeared. You can share it with the other colleagues within your practice, and that's where the real value kicks in. You can start building your own library of automations, even if you're not technical and you don't want to spend time learning how to code or how to understand a dynamo graph, etc. Okay, because this is all about the design intent and know how many clicks you need to do in your software or how many months you need to spend trying to figure out tools. Okay, we're trying to make it as simple as possible for people to speed up their work. I'm going to show you some tests, some examples, some conversations that I've had before. In this case, you can see that once you're happy, you can rename the automation, you can delete the ones that don't work. Not all the time they work, of course, and that because the LLMs are still not perfect at generating code. If you're not happy with it, you remove it. If you're happy, you just, at the moment, you just save your chat history and you can access that again. This is the same prompt I generated in the previous chat. Dimension internal walls in the current view, include doors, and in this case, I'm asking for linked files. Do it with a 0.3 meter offset, okay? We run the automation. So as I was saying, the code generation takes anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds, and of course, we're going to be able to bring that down substantially. But the running of the code, it really depends on the size of your project. Okay, so if you're going to dimension 5 walls, it's going to be pretty much instantaneous. If you need to dimension 100 walls, it's going to take slightly longer. Okay. So just a moment. If you have any questions during the presentation, there you go, by the way, dimensions done. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Feel free to contact me directly, either on LinkedIn or on our website. And that's it, okay? Because there are going to be some moment when the code is just running and we don't want to stay here like looking at a spinning wheel. But as you can see, we have created dimensions for your internal walls, capturing all the doors. Obviously, the very so important feature that you can capture your live geometry, but you can capture your linked files as well. And by the way, the software is not perfect today, okay? So there are still a couple of mistakes that we are ironing out. So for example, in this angled wall, it's very, very annoyingly not actually snapping to the right point. It's going to the external edge of the wall. Or we get situations where you have an internal wall snapping to a reference plane of a curtain grid, okay? Again, not perfect, but 99% there. In this case, we probably created the equivalent of 44 dimensions in, what was it, like 15, 30 seconds while we were waiting for it. And this is the kicker, okay? This is another automation that we built with one of our initial practices that we're really excited to see, which was the creation of external dimensions, okay, around the perimeter of the building. And we're asking for something substantially more complex. Create 3 strings of dimensions. In the first one, we want to capture, I'll probably run it and I'll explain it, okay, as we go. Just gonna run this automation. Create 3 strings of dimensions for all the external walls. In the first one, we want to capture all the doors, openings, structural openings, whatever you have in those walls. In the second one, we're capturing all the intersecting grids. And in the third one, we're capturing the full length of the wall. Do that across all the external facades of the building. In this case, what's happening is that I'm saying external walls. So the software is going to go and look for the wall function. In this case, all the walls that have the wall function external will be dimensioned in the same way that when I've asked for internal walls, it went and dimensioned the internal walls. Obviously, it's very important that you are modeling things correctly, because the software needs to know. The software is not, first of all, looking at your Revit file per se, but it's looking at the information of your Revit file. So it doesn't know if it's going to, there you go, dimension, as I was saying, 5 walls or 500 walls. And it's up to you to label those things correctly. But the moment you don't have to do these dimensions by hand, all of a sudden you have actually more time to, improve the quality of your 3D modeling and the collection of information. So it's a win-win on both sides. As I was saying, we have all the curtain grids being captured in one shot, all your windows. In the second one, we have all the intersecting grids. And in the third one is the full length. In this case, we ask full length of the wall. So I capture full length of curtain, full length of the basic wall, and then again, full length of the other curtain. Again, some annoying things like rogue 0 in here. Easy to fix at the moment. We'll be removing this ourselves, but at the moment you just grab your dimension, you just remove the reference. That's because in this particular instance, the software is grabbing both the end of the wall and the grid. But small problems. It's capturing all your angled walls, again, all your linked files, and you have, at this point, we have created selector instances in this view, 90 dimensions in a couple of minutes. And by the way, everything is done under a single transaction. So basically that means that you don't have to undo 90 dimensions with your, Control Z, Control Z. You can just open here, and those are named correctly. Well, in this case, edit the widthless line. We have this once again. I'll do it once. I'll do it twice. Well, I've adjusted this one as well. Do it 3 times, and I've removed all my dimensions. And once you're happy with this kind of automation, you can ask something more. So in this particular view, you might ask something more elaborate, and that's when you start seeing like the real value of this as well. Do all of what I've just done across views 1 to 3 and large A to large C. Okay, so all of these views in the background, and obviously there is no trick; it's just empty views at the moment, and we can run that automation as well. If you have any questions, once again, I can't see the chat at the moment, but Naman, please feel free to shout them at me if they are in any way relevant.
Sure. So there's a question that have you thought of looking at, it's the question by Irene, that have you thought of looking at worksets generation based on firm standards?
On worksets generation?
Mm-hmm. Have you
Not
thought
at the
of,
moment.
yeah, okay.
Not at the moment, to keep it short, because basically, again, our initial value proposition is everything around drawing automations. What I see that is particularly useful at the moment, and I'm seeing many practices asking, and there are other tools, by the way, trying to cover similar spaces. But what we want to do is, you're doing your 3D models, and it's about, placing rooms in every room, naming them correctly, creating a scope box with the right name around those rooms, create 4 elevations for those rooms, create an enlarged plan, name all of those correctly, create a sheet with the right name, place those views on the sheet, and then dimension and tag it. Okay, the moment you start covering that solid, like 70–80% of the drawing automation space, that's when it really starts becoming valuable. Once again, as you can see, the tool is running in the background. The idea, once again, we don't want to stay here looking at a spinning wheel. You do something else. You go to the bathroom, you make yourself a cup of coffee, you check an email, okay? You work on something else, you just don't look at the screen while the automation is running. Here is probably capturing hundreds of walls and probably thousands of single intersection points across, 6 views in this case. So we need to give it a minute. It will get faster, trust me, it will get faster, but just at the moment, this is where we are. Keep in mind, we are a small team, okay? I'm an architect, and my co-founder is a software engineer with a background on AI and 3D modeling. And we have 2 other founding engineers, so we are a very small team at the moment, okay? 4 people, bear that in mind. To go back to Irene, important point, as we are onboarding more large offices and commercial practices, the idea is that we're going to present you with 2 offerings, okay? It's going to be either your traditional SaaS model, when you're basically paying a monthly subscription, okay? And I'll touch on another topic of different values, whether it's $20, $50, or $100, or you can get into an enterprise deal with us, okay? So, for example, if for your practice, the creation of worksets automatically is very important, we can discuss that, okay? It's not a problem. So feel free to reach out with problems that are outside of drawing automations. We'll see if that's valuable or if it makes sense for us to build, but don't hold back. In terms of, by the way, yeah, dimensions done, okay? So we can see that level 2 is being dimensioned as well. Level 3 is being dimensioned, enlarged A, enlarged B, and enlarged C as well. It's all done. Obviously, in certain areas, you don't get the 3rd string. That's because you don't, the entire curtain wall is not present in this case. Pardon me. But everything else that needs to, in this case, you have this individual curtain wall, so you get the full length of that. But, everything gets dimensioned as we discussed pretty effectively. And today, once again, for a total of, oops, sorry, not the view. all instances in the entire project, 140 plus dimensions in a matter of minutes. And what's important here is not that you create them instantaneously, but you can rely on the code that you've already created. So, dimensions is something that happens in two occasions. It's either an everyday task that you need to dimension things as you're modeling, but it's also one of those tasks that become incredibly annoying when you're at a pinch point. So you're about to submit your 200 drawings for a stage report, or you're about to pass your planning application stage, or you're submitting your stage 3, whatever. There is always that moment when you have to start churning drawings and put them all together, and for whatever reason, a linked file has dropped out of your model and you lost all your dimensions. That's incredibly annoying, and you have to go back and repeat that tedious work. In this case, it's not a problem. Like, if you're happy with the results as you're modeling and you're structuring your prompts correctly, you can grab and delete them all from the entire project. Not a big deal. You rerun your prompts and you recreate them all in one shot. Okay? That's it. That's the end of the pitch for me, guys. Hopefully that was useful.
Great presentation and a great presentation. Great tool. Well, like, I'm just going to say that, this manual drafting, dimensioning, or annotations is one of our most, you can say, manually intensive workflows that we usually have. And that's great to see that you are, very much addressing such manually intensive workflows that really slows us down, and it's really cost intensive. And we, very look forward to try your tool out. I think you have shared your website in the chat.
Yeah.
If you can share it
Correct.
again, I think that'd be great. I'll just
of course. Well, it's ideatura.ai. I'm probably going to start looking at some of these questions with your permissions now, if you want, or we can do it later. I don't mind.
Definitely, we can start addressing. Okay. So I think this was about the presentation by Andrea. So if you guys have any doubt, you can definitely reach out, definitely ask right now from me or Andrea. Andrea, you can address.
Please.
There are some questions in the chat, and then we're gonna call it out for today.
If you're interested in trying this, if you're calling from a commercial practice, or even if you're particularly interested in the tool, okay, we can discuss this with private individuals as well. Okay, we're not hiding anything. We can give you access as well. But bear in mind, at the moment, the software is still very fragile. So we are vetting people one by one, and we are improving it on a weekly basis. I'm going to touch on one last topic that I didn't before, which is, so the new version of this software is going to be, when it comes down to a SaaS model, we're offering $20, probably $50 is going to be the standard offering, the most important one, or $100, or the enterprise deal. Let's look specifically at the SaaS model, okay, at the monthly subscription. The tool will be attached to tokens, okay? What does that mean? Probably most of your AI tools, if you're familiar with the concept of tokens, they are basically consuming credits that you have in your wallet. What's happening here is that we are connecting to all of those large language models you might be familiar with, whether it's a Claude from Anthropic or whether it's Gemini from Google. It really depends, okay, on the particular task. And we are in between building that layer that allows the large language models to understand 3D modeling, geometry, CAD, BIM information, okay? And when you are sending a request to us, we are also tapping into obviously those large language models, and those are connected to our own credit card at the moment. So obviously, once we give you access to this system, you basically have automations on tap, but you're still consuming from the original source when you're generating code, and also, by the way, when you're running code. Okay, so you're gonna have 20,000 tokens when you're spending $20. You're gonna have more when you're gonna have 60,000 if you get $50. You're gonna have 150,000 if you get $100, for example. And when you create an automation, maybe you consume, like a standard example is that probably when you're asking to create an automations for your internal walls, you're consuming at that moment anywhere between 200 and 500 tokens. Okay, so it's not necessarily a large or a small amount. It's just a reasonable amount that we're trying to map out. And then when you run the code, once again, you're not necessarily running a static automation, but the LLM still needs to figure out if it's going to grab 5 walls or 500 walls. The consumption of tokens in that case, it's smaller. So probably to dimension, the internal walls in this space, you're probably consuming anywhere between 20 or 50 tokens. Okay. That's it. that's the kind of model we're going in. So when you're going to go into your settings, where basically you're going to have an API key that connects your email to our main system. You're also going to basically see your token credits and how many credits you're consuming as you progress through your monthly subscription. Let's go straight into the questions. Let me see who's in there. Like it's not working. No, that's before. Can we
There
edit
was
the
a
dimensions
question.
after
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I think, am I starting from the right one? 453.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yes, you can. Obviously, hopefully you've seen what I've done at this point. I've
Mm.
adjusted a few dimensions. I've removed the 0. I've adjusted the capturing of one of those dimensions, but obviously I can rerun that. It's no problem. Or rerun this dimension, for example. So yes, you can. You can adjust all the dimensions that you see. What's happening in the background that maybe is not as obvious, that when you're creating dimensions, it's more obvious for the external elevations, and you're capturing, a basic wall that is 300 mil thick, but you're also grabbing a curtain wall that is 100 mil thick, and you say, give me an offset from those walls of 1 meter. You will expect those offsets of dimensions to be at a distance, at an offset, which is the difference between the thickness of the two walls. What's happening in the background is that the software is running all those dimensions, then is calculating that minimum maximum distance between those dimensions, aligning them and merging them into one. If you want then to adjust just a chunk of those dimensions, you can ask, please unmerge them. So you can basically separate the strings per wall. Once again, you can just delete one particular string, adjust that to your liking, and then move on to the next automation. So as I was saying, as you see here we have this problem that we're trying to fix at the moment. You just grab it and you snap it to wherever you think is right. In this case, we have an internal wall snapping at the wrong edge of your reference planes of a curtain wall. You just grab that, you move it where you need, and you're good to go. Okay, next questions. Have you thought of looking at workset? Irene, I think we discussed that, of looking forward to chat with you. What is this? Naman, that's one of your messages. That's
Yes.
fine.
That's a great tool with a lot of potential. Sumit is
Thank you,
he's
Irene.
asking,
Can we give
can we give
dimensions
them?
for 2000 sheets? Only grid-to-grid dimensions. Okay, that's a good question. We've never test 2000 sheets at the same time. Happy to give it a shot if you want. I don't have them in my model, but when it comes down to grids, for example, obviously we can do that. Okay, so I can show you grids. Okay, so this was another automation that I was looking for grids. And once again, once you're happy with it, you can just access it back. Create, in this case, I was asking create 2 strings of dimensions for each side in the views large A to large C. In the first one, we're capturing all the intersecting grids. In the second one, we're capturing the overall length from the first to the last grid. Okay, I'm gonna go here, large ABC, as you can see, and we're gonna run it. This is gonna be pretty fast because it's only some, there you go, done. 8 dimensions in this view. You're capturing the, all the intersecting one, and then you're capturing the full length. And grids, bear in mind, grids are fairly easy to dimensions, okay? And by the way, of course, B and C also done, okay? When you're creating your grids, in this case, you can obviously copy-paste them across multiple views, okay? So that's an easy task. But the problem comes when you have a cropped view, okay? So if you're just doing open space, open geometry without any boundaries, yeah, you can just copy paste them across. But the moment you have cropped views, so you have, this particular area or this particular area or this particular area, that trick stops working, right? So because you will not have the visibility of all the reference points that you need for that particular dimension. In this case, is intelligent, is understanding the crop view around your particular enlarged plan for one room or a bunch of rooms, and is creating a dimension that is just looking at what's visible in your view. And the offset is consistent from the actual cropped view. So when we ask 1 meter, that's another thing. Placing dimensions, you can find ways to speed up the process. You can be incredibly fast at just clicking around, but placing them at the right offset sometimes can be a bit annoying. And be sure that you're doing that consistent so that you don't get that very annoying flickering across your PDFs. That's consistent. It's always going to be a meter, and it's always going to be 2 meters, because that's what we asked. There you go. But hey, Sumit, please send me these 2,000 drawings or reach out to me, and we can see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. No more questions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great tool, Andrea, and thank you for coming on stage today and showcasing this wonderful this tool that I've developed. And I feel that, like, as I can understand, I think it's one of the most complex tools out there to build, right? And I have a small question, if you can answer that as well. So when
Yes.
we talk about data security, where are we looking this for this tool? So I think Irene also asked me in a question that some firms are pretty delicate about the data. So how are we addressing that data security point? If some large scale companies, let us suppose some large scale companies want to work with you, so how can we address that?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So first of all, for context, I guess it really depends. Like, when we talk to architectural practices, there are a few things that they think is important that they want to protect.
Mm,
First of all, is the IP of their own design. So
mm,
how the building looks like, how the spaces
mm,
are divided.
mm,
Basic intelligence around the way they create space and around the way their building looks.
mm,
And to answer that first part of the question is, at the moment, our tool does not look at that. Okay. At the moment, when we are creating dimensions, once again,
mm,
the moment you create the automation,
mm, mm,
we don't know if we're going to capture 5 walls or 500 walls, if we're going to capture 1 sheet or,
okay.
5 grids or 500 grids.
Mm,
What we are going to see at the end of the process is
mhm,
obviously how much information we've captured. Okay. And you're going to be able to click in the report and see that, for example, we're going to be able to extract Mehta, the same data that the software had to connect with. So in this case, we know we found a view called large A or large B. We know that
okay.
we found 7 grids on that view, but
Mm,
we don't know if the views include, a toilet or a bedroom. If includes like a very important facility layout or just your house extension.
okay.
Okay, so from that point, obviously there is a level of information that we need to interact with your Revit model, to
Mm,
automate it, but we don't see the plans. Okay, we don't see
plans.
how the building looks like.
Okay.
That's one
Okay.
point.
Mm,
We are planning to build more intelligence into this tool. So we are planning to add a visual layer to this LLM at some
mhm,
point. And the idea is that you won't just have like simple automations that you create, but the AI starts becoming really your peer in creating a design. We're going to be
mm,
able, the AI is going to be able to see the results that he has created in your drawing, and is going to be able to suggest improvements, or when you're, for example, tagging and dimensioning at the same time, it's going to be able to visually understand that, for example, some tags are overlapping with your walls, or is overlapping with some dimensions, and make some further adjustments after that. That's very useful. That's very
that's
important. That's still very manual.
mm,
And we feel that at some point, clients and company are going to be able to allow that level of um, release of information in order to get the gains in the speed.
understood. Understood. Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. That's it. So, what are our next step forward? What can we expect, from you to automate even more? I
Well,
suppose entire sheets, everything, or
yeah, that's exactly. Look, there are many tools out there at the moment in
mm,
the construction space trying to leverage this kind of technology. They're also trying to look incredibly cool and ambitious. Okay, hopefully,
mm,
Dimension is as far away from being cool as possible. Okay, we're trying to tackle a very monotonous, boring, basic problems
mm,
that I've had myself. Okay, I've been a CAD monkey for a while when I was a young
mm,
assistant in practices, just doing dimensions, creating sheets. Incredibly boring. After like 5 years of studying, I was not happy with those kind of tasks. And hopefully the idea is that we can take those initial tasks away. In this case,
mm,
dimensioning, and it's still not perfect. There are a few things we need
mm,
to work on.
yes, mm,
But as I was saying, the creation of room, the renaming of files correctly, the placing of the creation of elevations in a large plan, placing them into a sheet, dimensioning and tagging, and then whatever else you think is important. Okay, now we're starting to aggregate data from practices and try to understand what's the common priorities for everyone. Okay,
Understood.
and
Understood.
once we have that information, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see where it will take us next.
Well, yeah, great things to come. Like it's a great tool, and we expect great, like good, and good amounts of you can say efficiencies that your tool will bring us on board and help us out with, especially in manual settings that we usually have in Revit workflows. So again, thank you, Andrea, for
But
showcasing such a wonderful tool.
my pleasure.
Uh,
Thank you for the space, for allowing me here, and nice to meet everyone. Feel free to reach out to
nice to meet
LinkedIn,
you.
send me a message. I'll be sure to reply to everyone.
That's great. That's great, man. Feels great. Yeah. On the closing note, if you have anything else, again, we otherwise I'll just have a small thing to share. Then we can call off today's webinar. Any question? Do we have anything particular that we may have? There's some words of appreciation for you, Andrea, I think. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to present before we leave for I think it's Saturday night for some people, Saturday morning for some folks. It's Saturday night for today. Like we are also like this is the final call. We are just about to close our registration for our cohort. We as in me and my co-founder, not Andrea, but we are about to one second. So we are about to launch our cohort. It's a 4-week program that we are launching on 7th October, right? And it's primarily for architects and designers, structural and MEP engineers. It's going to be most inclusive 4-week program that we're trying to create. It's going to be a kickoff cohort, right? We are looking forward for some. It's a close batch of around 10 to 20 people. So it's just going to be me, and for first week we are focusing on AI foundations, basic tools, and second week we are focusing on visualizations and best practices that we can work around. In third week we are looking into analysis and documentation, and in fourth, in analysis and documentation we have tools just as Andrew showed his tool Ideatura and many other tools that we can try out, and again project management tools such as Notion AI, Notebook LM, and then we are having an integrated capstone project for which you will get a certification. We will also showcase some comprehensive no code software development tools such as Bolt that you can use for your own internal software development that you can use, right? And again, you'll have session recordings for around 8 sessions. You'll get some prompt engineering toolbook. Along with that, you'd have some implementation templates, one-to-one strategy sessions, and some resources that you can use, right? So I'll be the main instructor in that. And definitely, I have added it in the chat. I will share it in the chat again. Again, you guys can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp. And again, I'd be happy to address. So again, we are starting on 7th October. So there are some FAQs. You can take a look on the website. And if any of you folks are interested, do let me know. It's around 140, 150 USD for this 4-week program. But if you guys are interested, do let me know. I'll share the coupon code with you. Right. So again, thank you all for joining in. I think that we were able to give you some more insight on the AI in visualization workflows, but also in documentation workflows. And see you guys soon. And if you guys have any doubt, you can reach out to Andrea. He has shared his LinkedIn. I've shared my LinkedIn. I'll also share the recording of this session for you folks and also who have not able to attend it today. And if you guys need any help, if you guys need to know more about anything, you can definitely reach out to us and I'll happy to help you out. Great. Cheers, Andrea. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you, Naman. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.